Hello, Namaskar. We are here today with Malikarjuna, who heads IDEA. It's Inclusive Divyangjan Entrepreneur Association. He heads that organization, and we are here to discuss today about how disabled people are not getting the right kind of opportunities or not the right kind of ecosystem in order to contribute to the nation. And since our podcast series is all about Bharat through education, this is a very important topic because the disabled people make about 5 to 6% of the country, and it's a very important population for our country. The numbers are very important, and also the kind of contribution that they can make to our country is very important. So, welcome Malika Arjun to this series, and we are really very thankful that you joined us today. Thanks for joining us. And to begin with, I would like to take your view on when I woke up this morning, I saw this news in the Times of India, which is like yesterday, High Court asked the Delhi University Law Campus to explain how Disabilities Act provisions have been met at law center. This is something like what we are going to talk today. It's so much relevant because this is their university. It's in the heart of the uh, capital, and also main part of our country, and it's a law center. So if provisions are not met in at the law center, then what can we think of many other districts in our country? I would like to understand your perspective on this.
Thank you, Sanjay Kumar ji, for inviting me. I think this news is pretty common. Only thing is now, from a 10th page or 8th page, now suddenly they have started getting into the first page at the limelight into it because of RPWD Act and the provision. In 2016, when government has came out with RPWD Act with a very stringent provisions that why inclusion need to be done. So there is our mission at IDEA is to make Bharat inclusive capital of the world. So I'll just start the journey from a negative newspaper story about a law university or a university or an educational institution. From there to how to make Bharat inclusive capital of the world should be the journey of this story.
Correct.
And the reality is because of lack of awareness, sensitization, and the stringent rules that exist for many of the educational institutions, they don't realize it. So suddenly, this disability has become like a community, as you rightly said. We all strongly believe that if disability census is done today, 5 to 7% of country's population will be
Correct.
persons with disability. And now there are 21 different kinds of disabilities. Their requirements are different.
Yeah.
So making any campus inclusive, making any institution or office inclusive of, for that matter, home inclusive, is ultimately is going to increase the productivity. This
Correct.
is what we use out.
Correct.
There are several provisions as per RPWD Act and also as per the reservations. A certain number of seats, like 5% in education institutions, are reserved for persons with disabilities. So what we have seen through our research also, why people are not, like for example, I'll give you a statistic. Out of 100 people, 90 people are getting into primary education who are persons with disabilities. And out of these 90 people, almost 45 people are getting into graduation. And out of 45 people, only 21 or 22 people are getting.
There is a lot of dropout.
Lot of dropout. So when we try to look into the reason for the dropout is accessibility is one thing.
Correct.
And that equality mindset, like for example, if I'm a person with hearing impaired, the content, the curriculum, the training delivery is not accessible to me. So that is where I'm not able to really get along with it and dropping out. If I'm a visually challenged, the basic things are not in place.
Right.
Accessing the library, accessing the toilets, or accessing other things.
Correct.
So because of that, very less visually challenged people get
And I mean, in the libraries, I don't think that there are, material available for them.
correct. So the audio books,
Yeah.
the type of latest books, content,
Yeah.
translated books availability,
Right.
and that resource group availability.
Right.
Because we create a lot of content but we never think of making it universal where everybody can access to it.
Correct.
So by making small things that can be done. So the entry level accessibility is only a small thing that can be really resolved by putting up a ramp or by creating signages or
Correct.
certain things. But how do we make the campus, the classroom, and our mindset inclusive? That is
Right.
very important.
And the sensitivity.
The sensitivity is more important.
Yeah.
That inclusion is in nothing but providing equal opportunities.
Correct.
So that means making entire thing accessible. For example, not having a lift and having a classroom on the fourth floor.
Correct.
Is not going to affect a person with disability. It is also going to affect several other people.
Correct.
The elderly. We used to see that a lot of elderly after 50,
Correct.
60, they have muscular challenges now. They won't be able to
Correct.
get into having this mindset and understanding the law. Like as we were discussing, within the architecture, there is a content curriculum how to make buildings accessible.
Yeah.
And compulsorily, every building has to be accessible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, under RPWD Act, building can be closed immediately. And even under institutions, any institution under NAC guidelines also, primary importance has been given to accessibility.
So, what two follow-up questions I would like to ask you? What are some of the things that our country is losing out if we are not providing the right opportunity or not being inclusive? All the institutions across the country, India is a vast country. This as a challenge is big. So, what all we are losing out? If you can give us some examples, so.
So I will always say this, Sanjay ji, हम विश्वगुरु तो नहीं बनने वाले अगर ये नहीं करेंगे तो. So if our dreams are so big to make 5 trillion, 12 trillion economy, to make Bharat Vishwaguru, that is not going to happen unless until the marginalized communities, including persons with disabilities, and their economic power is understood and an ecosystem created out of it. So the solution side of it lies with these marginalized communities. Including persons with disabilities. For example, if the problem is retention in employment, the solution is hiring a person with disability. If the problem is a profit for a company, gaining a profit. Now, there are several studies which indicates that if you want to make your company profitable, do diversity and inclusive hiring. Either hire a female workforce or a person with disability or from a marginalized community. That is where your profit is coming for several reasons. And the retention, their long duration time, their loyalty towards the company, their skill set. So if we truly would like to see our country as a Vishwaguru and contribute to the world, best way is start working with persons with disabilities. And also I say this, now our country needs ability framework. So for long 50 years, we have been talking about rights of persons with disabilities. But now, what is that persons with disabilities through their abilities can do? Correct. Most important.
Yes.
So that ability framework needs to be drawn, and everybody needs to be seen through their abilities, not only the disabilities. For disabilities, we can provide certain, assistive devices or infrastructure.
Yeah, that is where, this, I keep saying about this, that the difference between sympathy and empathy. So we don't, I don't think that they need sympathy. They need more empathy in terms of real empowerment.
Correct. The reality, Sanjay, the fact is we all need to understand once in a lifetime, all of us are going to be going through this disability.
Correct.
So once we are after 60, 65, by default, we will be disabled.
Correct.
Almost 65% of country's population use specs with a higher percentage of, things. So they are also disabled. The high level of diabetes, elderly care. So I say this, we need to understand that once in a lifetime, all of us are going through that. It is a matter of today or after 10 years.
It's a matter of time, yes.
Time. So it is better to be inclusive, better to understand. We are not doing it for anybody else. We'll be creating an inclusive environment for ourselves. For so that everybody can perform. Just imagine 5 to 7% of country's population sitting idle, doing nothing, depending on government pensions, and taking out families' resources, with a lot of negative energy, wanted to do something but not able to do anything. So this is something no country can afford to at this point of time.
Correct.
And the way that India is becoming global, the way that entire world is started recognizing us, this sector now needs innovation, and lot of interventions are required to involve them. And I'm pretty sure that in the coming decade, we are going to see that many persons with disabilities are going to do wonderful things. Already we started seeing this. So a lot of good things are going to happen. Only thing is our mindset need to be changed.
What are some of the compliances, or I don't see anything where schools are gearing up towards that, because they are bound to do this to get that, to become a star school or something like that. So only we are living that situation on the mercy of educational institutions or leaderships or the states or the district level. But there are so many educational institutions, thousands and thousands of educational institutions at the primary level, secondary level. How do we get there? The kind of achievement we should be achieve, or the kind of level playing field we should create for disabled people at the primary and secondary level. How do we do that? So that is one question. And second is that what are the compliances in the existing higher education system, as we saw at the campus law center? So what do we do there?
I think very interesting. So now two things will happen. Either we need to change our mindset, or by default we have to change it by force or by anything. So if we talk about higher education, in the last 5 years itself, we have 100 plus IAS officers who are persons with disability, including visually challenged, neurodivergent segments. If you see Supreme Court, now there are 8 to 9 visually challenged advocates, senior advocates practicing in Supreme Court.
Correct.
Now, once Chief Justice Chandrachud took initiative, and they are trying to make Supreme Court inclusive.
Yeah, so they just opened a canteen.
Yeah, Mitti Cafe canteen
Mitti
recently
Cafe,
they
yeah.
opened, and before that, they did the access audit. The first thing is Supreme Court itself conducted an access audit report saying that if a hearing impaired advocate or a hearing impaired person comes for a justice, how do we deliver that justice? How anybody goes to a Supreme Court website and themselves navigate through,
Correct.
file an FIR.
Correct.
So I'm not able to see. So how do I
Correct.
justice in this country?
Correct.
So Chandrachudji ensured that these sort of things will be taken care. A committee was formed. An access audit report has been done.
Yeah.
Supreme Court's website is going to be first of its kind accessible website going
Yeah.
to come in.
Yeah.
And they have done the entire audit of their Supreme Court premises. Like if they come, if a wheelchair user comes, a lot of things they are trying to work out. So at the highest level, I could see a commitment, including at the Ministry of Social Justice level. So if you go today to any government office, at least the central government, and see how they're functioning, it has become more inclusive. Now, then they started promoting this with the state government. So it needs, we need to lead by example, where, for example, sign language. Sign language is an official language of Government of India. 1%, almost 1% of the people in this country suffer with hearing challenges, either hard of hearing or low hearing or
Correct.
different spectrum they have. The concept is how easy it is if in our schools like French and Japanese, sign language basic sign language is also taught. So this 1% immediately gets access to the schools. If a priest in a temple really understands, because sign language is inbuilt in our culture, it is not a big thing to be taught. Maybe a 14 hours course, 40 hours course, 50 hours course at the school level can make all of us understand the basic sign language to connect with that person. As simple as that. Similarly, how do we interact with a visually challenged person? So these tools needs to be developed and capacity needs to be built.
Correct.
But if a vice chancellor of a university needs to be inclusive, how does it look into?
So do you think that these are very good examples which you just cited? So do you think that there are some good things happening in our country and which are very forthcoming and very welcoming? But how do we scale this up? And so that is one question that comes to my mind. And also, should we create something? We have so many bodies, so many ministries, but should we create one just one body or some entity under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, for example, and that can only look after this replication, the scalability issue, this compliance issue, and everything. So that what I feel is that, as you also rightly pointed out, that if we need to be a Vishwa Guru, तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं से जितने भी डिजेबल्ड लोग हैं सबको पढ़ाना होगा और सबको सशक्त करना होगा, है ना? इतना उनको इत, इतना गुण उनको दे देना होगा, इतना पढ़ा देना होगा that they don't lose out and we don't lose out the opportunity, because इंडिया में ह्यूमन रिसोर्स को ही हम बूस्ट अप करते हैं. वी से दैट हम इतना बड़ा नेशन है. So how do we see this being replicated at a scale and also in smaller towns? Do you think that something like this should be, or I don't know if there is something already existing, if people know or not, but
एक्चुअली फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर होने के नाते जिस तरीके से वी आर स्ट्रक्चर्ड, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट,
correct.
education comes under somebody, health
Yes.
comes under somebody.
Yes.
This is where the integrated approach is required. I'll just give you an example. Let us not take any Europe, UK or US, but right kind of example could be UAE. So UAE में person with disability को people of determination कहते हैं.
Correct.
So the first thing that did is they created a 6-pillar structure of people of determination. And whoever comes, starting from birth to death, the entire life cycle management करने का एक policy, national policy उन लोगों ने लेके आए, which is around these 6 pillars, which includes education, which includes the lifestyle, the fun, entertainment, employment,
Yeah.
vocational rehabilitation, the health.
I was there in Dubai, and समुद्र के किनारे they had written accessible,
Correct.
sea, like
So the policy of UAE, starting from the king to anybody else, is आप किसी को just because of their disability, discrimination should not happen. So they don't allow anything which is not accessible to all. With the by default, so they have a directory of entire persons with disabilities, and they see that if beach is open, it should be open for all.
yeah, so it was accessible beach.
And entire thing is accessible,
Yeah.
starting from. So if
So the policy is कि अगर disabled लोग उसको access नहीं कर सकते हैं या उसको enjoy नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो it will not be for anyone.
not given permission, and very heavy penalties are there. And they encourage, they identify people, and over a period of time, like government organizes this assistive tech fairs, they organize entertainment shows, they bring in all the persons with disability, they take their feedback, what else can be done, and that is built as a national policy.
Wow.
6 pillars around, and this central national policy, the way that, though it is a very small country, they are able to do it. But in India also, there are a lot of good things happening at the state level, also at the central level. But जो तमिलनाडु में कुछ बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है, बिहार inclusion policy and the rural livelihood mission is excellent, but that never scaled up to other states. So what is lacking is this central body which actually documents all these best practices.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Link
कि
with this,
ये क्यों नहीं हो सकता है?
वो मिसिंग है अभी. तो एक टास्क फोर्स जैसा बनना चाहिए,
Correct, correct.
सब मिनिस्ट्रीज को
Correct.
जोड़ सके,
Correct.
वो एक काम हो सकता. So another big hope is entrepreneurs with disabilities in the country. They're doing wonderful work, nook and corner, local areas, rural areas,
Yeah.
through businesses. They're trying to create that impact, and also providing employment to non-disabled, to women, the local tribal, trying to resolve some of the local problems. And this entrepreneurship and self-employment definitely is going to prove one of the biggest boon for persons with disabilities. On the other hand, where we are trying to create a startup ecosystem in the country, by default, many of the persons with disabilities who took these ventures, they are doing wonderful. Name any sector now, we have entrepreneurs. And once through their case studies, once they're capturing these marketplaces, getting into various brands, creating brands, I'm sure the consciousness level is going to.
And also the sports persons. Recently, and every year the kind of things they are showcasing, the kinds of jazba and the bravery they are showing.
Correct.
It's amazing.
It's only an opportunity.
Yeah.
Provided the right kind of opportunity, they will prove it.
Yeah.
And we as a society, and we only thing that we need to do is change our mindset.
Yeah.
Treating them equally.
So, do you have any special message on World Disability Day?
World Disability Day, generally people celebrate.
Yeah.
I think
It's a one-day thing.
one day thing. So I always say this: if we can be a friend of a disabled, we call it as Divyangjan Mitra. Can we identify one person, create a hope among them, sit with them, have chai with them, try to understand their aspirations? When we did this Divyangjan aspiration studies, and some amazing results have come up. The rural Divyanjan of this country have big, big dreams. And their dreams are attached with their country, their family, sustainability. They want to resolve some of the climate change issues. They want to create institutions. I tell you, there is a Divyanjan entrepreneur who created this Bachpan schools. Now he's a wheelchair bound. But now Bachpan school is one of the top rated, highest franchisee in preschool segment. So from that preschool, now he created up to university, and the type of education that they're providing, the type of inclusive mindset that they're providing, is exceptional. So taking them to campuses, making them heroes, making them express their feelings, providing that opportunities itself is going to open up a lot of good things for us.
Thank you so much for all your thoughts, Malika. And we are so grateful that you shared all your experiences, thoughts, insights, which are so useful. And your suggestion to all of us to be sensitive and, taking disabled people along and making them friends. This is something which, we would like everyone to do. And, as we both discussed and we learned from each other that how important it is for the nation to grow further and to become a Vishwa Guru, to take all the disabled people along. It's a huge population and they are part of our country. So, we are closing this session with a lot of hopes and a lot of aspiration for all the disabled people in our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.